Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Margaret Thompson. I'm 68 years old, and 2 years ago I made a discovery that literally saved my independence. Today, I want to share the story of how ignoring 5 silent warning signs nearly cost me everything, and how recognizing them transformed not just my health, but my entire outlook on aging. The morning I couldn't get up. February 2023. I'm lying in bed at 6:47 a.m., staring at the ceiling, gathering courage for what used to be the simplest thing in the world. Getting up, my back aches, my knees feel stiff, my shoulders are tight. I tell myself it's just age, just normal wear and tear after 68 years of living, but deep down, I know something's changed.
6 months earlier, I'd been hiking with my book club, leading discussions, traveling to visit grandchildren.
Now I'm making excuses to avoid stairs, choosing restaurants based on parking proximity, and secretly worried about falling. I felt like my body was betraying me, aging faster than it should. I was becoming that older person I'd always pitied, shuffling instead of walking, hesitant instead of confident. That's when Dr. James Patterson entered my life and changed everything I thought I knew about aging. The doctor who saw what others missed. Dr. Patterson wasn't my regular physician. I'd twisted my ankle getting out of the car. Embarrassingly simple movement that somehow resulted in injury. And he was covering for my usual doctor. After examining my ankle, he did something unexpected. Instead of just prescribing rest and ice, he asked me to walk across the room. Then he asked me to stand from the chair without using my hands. Then he watched me reach overhead for something on a high shelf. "Mrs. Thompson," he said gently, "when did you last do something that made you breathe hard?" I had to think. Really think. I climbed those stairs at the museum last month. And before that? The silence stretched uncomfortably long. "I see this pattern constantly, Doctor," Patterson explained. "Intelligent, accomplished people who've somehow convinced themselves that slowing down is inevitable. But what they're experiencing isn't aging, it's deconditioning." He leaned forward. "Your body is sending you signals. Have you been listening? The 5 silent signs that changed everything." What Dr. Patterson taught me next revolutionized my understanding of my own body. He explained that our bodies are constantly communicating with us, especially after 65, but we've been conditioned to dismiss these messages as normal aging. "Margaret," he said, "your body isn't failing you, it's asking for help. Let me show you the 5 ways it's been trying to get your attention." Sign number 1, the energy paradox. "Tell me about your energy levels, Doctor," Patterson said. "Terrible," I admitted. "I'm exhausted by 3 p.m. I used to power through full days, but now I need naps just to function." He nodded knowingly. "This is what I call the energy paradox. You're tired because you're not moving enough, but you're not moving because you're tired. It's a vicious cycle." He explained something that shocked me. Sedentary behavior actually increases fatigue. When you avoid movement to conserve energy, your cardiovascular system deconditions, your muscles weaken, and your body becomes less efficient at producing energy. I thought about my typical day, sitting through breakfast, sitting in the car, sitting at my desk, sitting for lunch, sitting watching TV. Maybe 5 minutes of actual movement spread across 14 waking hours. "Movement doesn't drain energy at your age, Doctor," Patterson continued. It creates energy. Your body is asking for the stimulus it needs to maintain its energy-producing systems. The science fascinated me. Every time we move, our cells create new mitochondria, the powerhouses that generate energy. Without movement, these cellular engines shut down, leaving us feeling drained and sluggish. That afternoon, I paid attention to my energy patterns. By 2 p.m., I was struggling to keep my eyes open. By 8 p.m., I was completely depleted. My body was clearly communicating something I'd been ignoring. Sign number 2, the balance betrayal. "How's your balance?" Dr. Patterson asked. I hesitated. "Well, I've been holding railings more often, and I won't walk on uneven surfaces anymore. But that's just being careful, right?" His expression grew serious.
Margaret, when did you last stand on one foot?
Why would I do that? Try it now. I stood up and lifted my right foot. Within 3 seconds, I was wobbling, reaching for the chair. 20 years ago, how long could you have held that position? Indefinitely, I realized with growing alarm. Dr. Patterson explained that balance isn't just about preventing falls. It's a complex system involving strength, coordination, and spatial awareness. Your body has been asking you to challenge these systems. But instead, you've been avoiding situations that require balance. He showed me the progression. First, we stop walking on uneven surfaces. Then we start using handrails on all stairs. Then we avoid stepping over curbs. Finally, we become genuinely unstable, at risk for the falls that change everything for seniors. The irony, he said, is that avoiding balance challenges makes you more likely to fall, not less. Your body needs these challenges to maintain the systems that keep you upright. I thought about all the times I'd chosen the elevator over stairs, avoided stepping stones across streams, taken the long way around uneven pavement. I thought I was being prudent. Actually, I was training my body to become unsteady. Sign number 3, the flexibility fade. "Touch your toes, Doctor," Patterson said. I bent forward and stopped when my fingertips reached my mid-shins. "I've never been flexible," I protested. "What about reaching behind your back? Can you clasp your hands behind you?" I tried. My right hand reached down from my shoulder. My left reached up from my waist. There was a 6-inch gap between them. "Margaret, flexibility isn't about being a gymnast. It's about maintaining the range of motion for daily activities. Can you look over your shoulder when backing up the car? Can you reach the top shelf without straining? Can you put on a jacket without discomfort?" As he asked these questions, I realized how many small compensations I'd been making. I'd been turning my whole body instead of just my head. I'd been asking others to reach high items. I'd been struggling with simple clothing. "Your connective tissues are like rubber bands, Doctor," Patterson explained. "Use them regularly, and they stay elastic. Ignore them, and they become brittle and short. Your body has been asking you to maintain these ranges of motion, but you've been working around the limitations instead of addressing them." The revelation hit hard. Every time I'd said, "I can't do that anymore," my body had been asking me to try, to stretch, to maintain what I still had. Instead, I'd been accepting limitations as permanent. Sign number 4, the strength disappearance. "Let's test something, Doctor," Patterson said. He placed a bathroom scale on the floor. "Step on this with just your right foot and push down as hard as you can." The scale read 87 pounds. "Now, your left foot." 92 pounds. He made notes. 20 years ago, how much did you weigh? About the same. Maybe 135 pounds. So you should be able to generate at least 135 pounds of force with each leg. Probably much more. You're generating about 2/3 of your body weight. That's significant muscle loss. He had me try other tests. Squeezing a device that measured grip strength, pushing against his resistance with my arms. The results were consistently alarming. This isn't about becoming a bodybuilder, Dr. Patterson explained. This is about maintaining the strength necessary for independence. Getting out of chairs, carrying groceries, opening jars, climbing stairs without exhaustion. He showed me the progression of strength loss. First, we start using both hands for tasks that used to require one. Then we avoid lifting anything heavy. Then we struggle with our own body weight. Finally, we need assistance with basic daily activities. Your muscles have been asking you to challenge them, he said. Every time a task feels slightly difficult, that's your body saying, I need to work harder to maintain this ability. But instead of responding to that challenge, you've been avoiding it. I thought about how I'd stopped carrying my own groceries, started asking for help opening jars, begun using my whole body to get out of low chairs. I'd interpreted these struggles as signs to do less. Actually, they were requests to do more. Sign number 5, the circulation slowdown. Tell me about your hands and feet, Doctor, Patterson said. Cold, always cold now, and sometimes my legs feel heavy, especially when I've been sitting. He examined my feet, pressing on my ankles. See this slight swelling? And notice how your skin color changes when you elevate your legs. I looked down, alarmed. I had noticed these things, but dismissed them as minor inconveniences. Your circulatory system is like a river, he explained. It needs movement to flow efficiently. When we're sedentary, blood pools in our extremities, our heart works harder, and our tissues don't get optimal oxygen and nutrients. He described the cascade. Poor circulation leads to cold extremities, increased swelling, slower healing, and greater fatigue. Over time, it contributes to more serious cardiovascular problems. Every time you feel that heaviness in your legs after sitting, that's your body asking you to move. When your hands and feet are cold despite warm weather, that's your circulation asking for stimulation. When you feel sluggish after being still, that's your cardiovascular system requesting activity. The pattern was becoming clear. My body had been sending consistent, gentle signals for months. I'd been interpreting them as reasons to rest more, move less, accept limitations. But they were actually requests for exactly the opposite. The 30-day experiment that changed my life.
Walking home from that appointment, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months.
Clarity. For the first time, I understood that my body wasn't failing. It was communicating, and I'd been ignoring the conversation. Dr. Patterson had given me homework. For the next 30 days, instead of avoiding what feels challenging, I want you to lean gently into it. Your body will guide you. Days 1 to 10, listening differently. I started paying attention to my body's signals with new understanding. When I felt stiff getting out of bed instead of moving carefully and staying protective, I spent 2 minutes doing gentle stretches. When climbing stairs left me breathless, instead of avoiding stairs, I climbed them more slowly but more often. When my balance felt uncertain, instead of holding walls constantly, I practiced standing on one foot for a few seconds several times a day. The changes were subtle, but noticeable. By day 5, I was sleeping better. By day 8, I had more energy in the afternoons. By day 10, I realized I hadn't needed my afternoon nap in 3 days. Days 11 to 20, building momentum. As my body responded to this new approach, I became more adventurous. I started parking farther from store entrances. I chose stairs over elevators when practical. I carried my own groceries again. Most importantly, I began recognizing the difference between good challenge and harmful strain. Good challenge left me feeling energized afterward. It made daily tasks easier, not harder. The revelation was profound. My body had been asking for appropriate challenge, and I'd been giving it inappropriate protection. Days 21 to 30, the new normal. By week 3, people started commenting. "Margaret, you seem different, more energetic." My daughter said I was standing straighter. My neighbor mentioned I was walking faster. But the most significant change was internal. I'd stopped feeling like a fragile old person navigating a world designed for younger bodies. I felt like myself again, someone who could handle reasonable physical challenges. The 5 silent signs had transformed from symptoms of decline into tools of awareness. When I felt tired, I asked, "Do I need rest or do I need movement?" When I felt stiff, I asked, "Do I need protection or do I need gentle challenge?" When I felt unsteady, I asked, "Do I need to avoid this situation or do I need to practice this skill?" When I felt weak, I asked, "Do I need assistance or do I need strengthening?" When circulation felt sluggish, I asked, "Do I need to sit longer or do I need to move more?" The science that supports everything. Curious about my experience, I dove into the research. What I discovered validated everything Dr. Patterson had taught me. A 2019 study in the Journal of Aging Research found that adults over 65 who engaged in regular movement showed significant improvements in energy levels within just 3 weeks. The mitochondrial changes Dr. Patterson had described were measurable and dramatic. Research on balance published in the Journal of Gerontology demonstrated that balance-challenging activities could improve stability scores by up to 40% in seniors, but only if practiced regularly. Avoiding balance challenges accelerated decline. Flexibility studies showed that even people in their 80s could regain significant range of motion with consistent, gentle stretching. The key was daily practice, not intensity. Strength research was perhaps most encouraging. Muscle mass could be maintained and even increased well into the 70s and 80s with appropriate resistance activities. Circulation studies confirmed that movement-based interventions improved cardiovascular function in seniors more effectively than medications alone. The science was clear. The 5 silent signs weren't harbingers of inevitable decline. They were invitations to maintain vitality. Building my movement ecosystem. Inspired by the research and my own experience, I developed what I call my movement ecosystem, a sustainable approach to staying active that works with, rather than against, the realities of aging. Foundation layer, daily movement snacks. Instead of trying to exercise for an hour straight, I started taking movement snacks throughout the day. Morning, 5 minutes of stretching before getting out of bed. Mid-morning, 2 minutes of balance practice while waiting for coffee to brew. Afternoon, 3 minutes of strength exercises during TV commercials. Evening, 5 minutes of circulation-boosting movement before dinner. Total time, 15 minutes spread across the day, but the impact was exponential. Strength layer, functional challenges. Rather than going to a gym, I incorporated strength challenges into daily activities, carrying groceries in from the car, getting up from chairs without using my hands, taking stairs when available, doing wall push-ups while waiting, lifting books, water bottle, or other household items. These weren't workouts. They were responses to my body's requests for appropriate challenge. Flexibility layer, movement opportunities. I began seeing daily activities as flexibility opportunities, reaching for items on high shelves instead of using step stools, looking over my shoulder when backing up instead of relying only on mirrors, putting on jackets by reaching behind my back, bending to pick up dropped items instead of using grabbers. Each movement became a conversation with my body about maintaining range of motion. Balance layer, stability practices. Balance became a game rather than a fear. Standing on one foot while brushing teeth, walking heel to toe down hallways, standing from sitting without using hands, stepping over obstacles instead of walking around them. These practices transformed from scary challenges into empowering skills. Circulation layer, flow activities. I found creative ways to keep my circulation active, taking phone calls while walking around the house, doing calf raises while standing in lines, flexing my feet while sitting, taking movement breaks every 30 minutes. The goal wasn't intense exercise, it was consistent flow. The ripple effects. What started as attention to 5 physical signs created changes far beyond my body. Mental clarity. As my circulation improved, my thinking became sharper. I could focus longer, remember better, and felt mentally energized throughout the day. Emotional resilience. Physical confidence translated into emotional confidence. I felt capable of handling challenges rather than overwhelmed by them. Social connection. As I became more active, I naturally engaged more with others. I joined walking groups, attended standing events, and felt comfortable in social situations that required movement. Independence preservation.
Most importantly, I was maintaining, and in some cases regaining, the physical capabilities necessary for independent living.
Common myths that hold us back. Through my journey, I encountered numerous myths that prevent older adults from listening to their bodies. Myth 1, movement should be comfortable. Reality, appropriate challenge feels slightly uncomfortable but energizing. Comfort often signals insufficient stimulus for improvement. Myth 2, if it hurts, stop immediately. Reality, there's a difference between harmful pain and challenge discomfort. Learning this distinction is crucial for progress. Myth 3, older bodies can't improve. Reality, bodies remain remarkably adaptable throughout life. Improvements may be slower, but are absolutely possible. Myth 4, it's too late to start. Reality, benefits begin immediately at any age. The best time to start is now, regardless of current fitness level. Myth 5, exercise must be formal. Reality, daily activities can provide all the movement stimulus needed for health and vitality. The medical partnership. 1 year into my movement journey, I had my annual physical. The results were remarkable. Blood pressure down 15 points, resting heart rate, improved by 8 beats per minute. Balance scores improved by 35%. Flexibility measurements increased in all major joints. Strength tests back to age-appropriate norms. But my regular doctor was most impressed by something else.
Margaret, you're moving like someone 10 years younger. What changed?
I explained, Doctor. Patterson's 5 silent signs and my response to them. This is exactly what we should be teaching every patient over 65, she said. Prevention through awareness, not intervention after decline.
She began incorporating these assessments into her practice with older patients, helping them recognize their body's communications before problems became crises.
The support system. As word spread about my transformation, I discovered I wasn't alone.
Other people my age were experiencing similar awakenings about their body's signals.
We formed an informal group, 7 women and 3 men between ages 62 and 74, who met weekly to share experiences and encourage each other. The group became a laboratory for discovering creative ways to respond to our body's requests for movement. We shared strategies, celebrated improvements, and supported each other through challenges. Most importantly, we normalized the idea that bodies continue communicating throughout life, and that our job is to listen and respond appropriately. The seasonal approach. One thing I learned was that movement needs change with seasons, both literal and metaphorical. Spring energy, good days. On days when I felt energetic, I could be more adventurous, longer walks, more challenging balance exercises, increased activity levels.
Summer strength, peak days.
During my best periods, I focused on building strength and flexibility reserves that would sustain me through more difficult times. Autumn adjustment, moderate days. When energy was moderate, I maintained routines but adjusted intensity, focusing on consistency rather than challenge. Winter wisdom, challenging days. On difficult days, whether due to weather, health fluctuations, or life stress, I practiced gentle movement that honored my body's current capacity while maintaining the conversation. This seasonal approach prevented the all-or-nothing thinking that had previously led to giving up entirely when faced with temporary setbacks. Teaching my family. The most rewarding aspect of my transformation was sharing these insights with my adult children and grandchildren. I taught my daughter to recognize her own body's early signals about needing more movement. At 45, she was already developing some of the patterns I'd fallen into. I showed my grandchildren that aging doesn't mean inevitable decline. It means learning to listen more carefully to your body's wisdom. Most importantly, I demonstrated that taking care of your physical self is an investment in your ability to care for others and contribute to your community. The letter to my former self.
If I could write to myself at 66, when these signs first appeared, I would say,
Margaret, your body is not betraying you. It's trying to help you. Those feelings of stiffness and fatigue and instability aren't sentences of decline. They're requests for attention. Start listening now. Start responding now. Start the conversation with your body that will preserve your independence and vitality for decades to come. You have more control than you realize, more potential than you imagine, and more time than you fear. But only if you start paying attention to what your body is trying to tell you. The daily practice. Now, at 68, My days look completely different. I wake up and listen to my body before getting out of bed. I move in response to what I hear rather than in spite of it. When I feel stiff, I stretch gently. When I feel weak, I find appropriate challenges. When I feel unsteady, I practice balance safely. When I feel tired, I move more mindfully. When circulation feels sluggish, I get my blood flowing. These responses have become as natural as eating when hungry or resting when sleepy. I'm having an ongoing conversation with my body about what it needs to function optimally. The community impact. What started as personal transformation has rippled outward. Our informal group has grown into a community resource. We offer movement classes for seniors, share information about staying active safely, and provide peer support for people discovering their own body awareness. Local healthcare providers refer patients to our group. Community centers ask us to speak about aging actively. Most importantly, we're changing the narrative about what's possible after 65. We're living proof that the 5 silent signs aren't symptoms of inevitable decline. They're tools for ongoing vitality. The science of hope. Recent research continues to validate what I experienced personally. Studies show that movement-based interventions can reverse age-related muscle loss within 12 weeks, improve balance scores by 40% or more in seniors, restore flexibility to near-youthful levels with consistent practice, enhance circulation and cardiovascular function at any age, increase energy levels through improved mitochondrial function. But the most important finding is this. It's never too late to start listening to your body and responding to its requests for appropriate challenge. Your starting point. If you've recognized yourself in this story, here's how to begin. Week 1, assessment. Pay attention to the 5 silent signs without trying to change anything yet. Notice when you feel tired, stiff, unsteady, weak, or have circulation issues.
Just observe and record.
Week 2, gentle response. When you notice these signs, try gentle responses. Stretch when stiff, move when tired. Practice balance when unsteady. Find small challenges when feeling weak. Get circulation flowing when sluggish. Week 3, pattern recognition. Begin to see patterns in when these signs appear and what responses work best for your body. Week 4, integration. Start incorporating appropriate responses into your daily routine, making them as natural as any other self-care practice. The key is starting small and building gradually. Your body will guide you toward what it needs if you're willing to listen. The promise of partnership. What I've learned is that aging doesn't have to mean declining. It can mean developing a more sophisticated partnership with your body, one based on communication, respect, and appropriate response to its needs. Your body is still talking to you. It's still asking for what it needs to serve you well. The question is, are you ready to listen? The 5 silent signs aren't harbingers of doom. They're invitations to vitality. They're your body's way of saying, I'm still here, I'm still capable, but I need your partnership to stay strong. That partnership is available to you right now, regardless of your current age or fitness level. Your body is waiting to begin the conversation. The Sunday morning realization. Every Sunday morning now, I wake up and do something that would have seemed impossible 2 years ago. I listen to my body with curiosity rather than fear. Instead of cataloging aches and limitations, I tune into what my body is asking for that day. Sometimes it wants gentle stretching, sometimes it craves a good walk, sometimes it needs balance practice or strength challenges. But always, it wants partnership in maintaining the vitality that makes life full and independent. Last Sunday, as I stood on one foot while brushing my teeth, a simple balance practice that's become second nature, I realized something profound. I'm not fighting aging. I'm dancing with it.
I'm not denying my body's changes. I'm responding to them wisely.
The 5 silent signs that once frightened me have become trusted advisors, guiding me toward the movement and challenges that keep me strong, stable, and vital. The final truth. Dr. Patterson taught me that our bodies never stop communicating with us. They never stop asking for what they need to serve us well. The tragedy isn't that our bodies age. It's that we stop listening to their wisdom. Your body is talking to you right now. It's telling you what it needs to maintain strength, balance, flexibility, energy, and circulation. It's asking for partnership in preserving your independence and vitality. The 5 silent signs aren't symptoms of inevitable decline. They're invitations to a more conscious, responsive relationship with your physical self. Your body has carried you faithfully for decades. It deserves a partner who listens, responds, and honors its requests for appropriate challenge. That partnership begins with your next choice. Will you ignore what your body is telling you? Or will you start the conversation that could transform your next decades? The signals are there. The science supports response. The community awaits. Your body is asking, are you ready to answer?
Thanks for watching, everyone. And
If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-world wisdom about aging actively and independently. In the comments below, tell me, which of the 5 silent signs have you been noticing in your own body? That awareness might be the beginning of your own transformation. And remember, in memory of all the seniors who've shown us that aging is not about declining, but about evolving. Your body is still your ally, still your partner in this journey. It's time to start listening to its wisdom. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep moving, keep listening, and keep partnering with the remarkable body that's carried you this far and wants to carry you much further still.